Today I am going to talk to you with a little bit of a warning about buying Holland America insurance before final payment date. Also, I've got a couple of updates on Princess cruise ships. We've got river cruising returning to some rivers in the United States where there has not been river cruises for 80 years, as well as some other updates, and we are also going to talk about cruise ship safety and a big investigation going on. So today we've got a lot to talk about, but I've already got a big stack for tomorrow, as well as I'm hoping some other updates come in before then, so we've just got a lot to cover here. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. So today, let's start off. We've got a Let's Go family member who is on the Enchanted Princess right now, and they sent me an update, and I think they also, if I recall correctly, they also put it on our Facebook group. So if you read it there, forgive me, but I wanted to make sure, just a couple of things, because it sounds like there are a couple of changes in procedure that I wanted to make everyone aware of. So they, let me start off by saying that it sounds like they're having a lovely cruise. They have cruised with Princess. They are platinum level. And so a couple of the things that they have noticed that are changes from when they had cruised before, they always buy the bottled water packages that you can have delivered to your cruise room, your cruise cabin on Princess, as well as the cans of soda that you can have delivered. I am very familiar with the packages of bottled water. You can buy a 12-pack of just your regular size bottles of bottled water for $7, and I believe it's 8 cents. And whenever we have been on the ship before, those have just been waiting there in our cabin. He said that when they got on the cruise ship here just this time, that the water was already in their cabin when they got on board, but usually the soda, they say, they just ask the cabin attendant to please, or the room steward to please bring it. And he said that now you have to call room service, and if you have ever tried to call room service on embarkation day, you know they pretty much don't answer the phone, or I don't know if they're busy doing other things and they don't answer the phone, or if they're just overwhelmed that so many people want room service that you really can't get through. I've tried that before for other things, and like one time our water was not in our cabin, so that's who the room steward said to call. So anyway, it sounds like now you have to call room service to bring your soda cans of soda, and apparently they were able to get them delivered the next night on their cruise. They also pointed out the frustration that so many of us are having, that you go into the Medallion app, you make your reservations for a certain time for dinner in the main dining room, you go there at that time, and then you still have a long wait. That is apparently going on with their experience here on the Enchanted Princess, that they will go at their appointed time and still have to wait like an hour. I really don't know if any of you that have cruised, the last time I was on a Princess cruise was at the end of October, so let me know, any of you that have cruised recently, let us know if you've got any thoughts on what Princess can do to take away this problem. If you've got your dining organized to the point that you could take reservations, I don't know why there's not a table held for that person at that time. And I know that as the evening wears on, and I'll say it, it is really hard to judge how quickly people are going to eat. Part of that does depend on how quickly the service is going, but part of it really does depend on some people eat slower than other people. Some people like to talk a lot more at dinner. Sometimes the conversation, if you're sitting with other people at the table, the conversation can go longer. The serving takes longer that way. So I know that there are a lot of things that impact the availability of the tables. But you would think that after being in business this long, they would be able to extrapolate a little bit about how to run things so that people can have an experience that gives them their dining time somewhat close, at least, to their reservation time. So put that in the comments below if you've observed anything you think would really help, or any suggestions, because we'll put it out there just in case someone at Princess is listening. So just wanted to let you know, and they did point out, if you are not aware of this, Princess does not give those blue tote bags. They used to put 2 on the cabin steward would just leave them on the bed there for us, and they don't do that anymore. I pretty much think that went away with COVID. I think that we got one on one of our cruises, and I feel like maybe they were using up old stock, because we have not seen it on the last few cruises that we've done on Princess, and it sounds like no one else has either, so it seems like that is going away. So thanks for that update on the Enchanted Princess. Now, another thing that I wanted to make sure that you all know, and this to me is so exciting. There's a lot of reasons why I think you should know this, but two things. We have two exciting news things about cruise lines here in the United States that do river cruising. So first of all, we've got the American Queen voyages. They have 7 ships, and they sail here in the United States in rivers and everything. And they have announced that they are upgrading those 7 ships that they own to have Starlink on board, and it will not cost you extra. That will just be part of the all-inclusive package that you get when you book with them. I am really excited about that. Truly getting to sail on the Norwegian Breakaway with that Starlink. That Starlink is a game changer when it comes to internet. Fantastic. So you can look forward, if you book a cruise on American Queen voyages, that you'll get to have Starlink. Now, the other story that I think is so exciting is, let me tell you, I mix up those two cruise lines all the time. American Cruise Lines, which is different than American Queen voyages, they are going to start doing, starting on February 24th, they're going to start doing river cruises in California. They say that there has not been river cruising in California for like 80 years. So this is a huge mile marker, and to me it seems like, really, with the announcement of American Queen voyages wanting that they're adding that Starlink, and with these new river cruises in California that clearly we have not seen in a lifetime almost, that cruising on the rivers here of the United States, it sounds like the cruise lines are really trying to kick up their game and give a lot more options, which really makes me excited. I think it's fantastic. So they are going to go. And by the way, this is the first time that American Cruise Lines has done any cruises in California. They didn't do it before 80 years ago. So they are going to go out of San Francisco. They are going to explore San Francisco Bay, Napa, the Sacramento River, and the San Joaquin River over an 8-day itinerary. So it says that excursion highlights are going to include, they're going to have the offer to go to the, I don't know if it's the Hagen or the Hagen Museum, Haggin, museum in Stockton, California. One of the options will be a honey tasting in Sacramento. And of course, they say lots of wine tastings throughout Napa Valley. I love that in their press release they added that the California Delta is one of the most beautiful areas in the U.S. to explore by riverboat, and many have visited wine country, but no one can say that they have cruised through it. And so this is really exciting for me. So if you think that you want to do that, like I said, the voyages are starting on February 24th. It will be on the American Jazz, and she had been doing sailings on the Mississippi River, so they are just taking her, like right now, she is going down through the Panama Canal and coming up to be ready to be in San Francisco for them to embark on those cruises starting February 24th. And so that ship holds 99 passengers in all balcony accommodations, so you don't have to worry about getting an interior and not being able to see everything. And the cost for that, they start at $5,990 per person. So yeah, I think that this is really exciting. And if you're new around here, I think I'm extra excited about river cruising, because Gordon and I are going to go on our very first river cruise. We are going to fly to Munich, Germany on well, what day are we flying? March 23rd, so that we can get there on the 24th, so that we are ready to embark on the cruise in Passau, Germany on March 25th is when it goes. The 26th, we have a day in Linz, Austria. March 27th and 28th, we have 2 days, which will include an overnight in Vienna, which I am so excited. I'm looking for tickets to go to a concert there. And then on Wednesday the 29th, we are in Bratislava, Slovakia. And then on Thursday, March 30th, we end up in Budapest, Hungary. We are still waiting for some information about the times and the all of the excursions that will be offered. This is the first cruise of the season there, and so we are really excited to get to go. I think it'll be nice because it's not going to be like, it's not the high season for tourists in this area, so I'll let you know how it goes. So plan to come with us. We'll be delighted. And then afterwards, we get off the ship on a Thursday, and we are going to stay until the following Monday. We're going to rent a car in Budapest and drive over. Forever I have wanted to go to Salzburg, and this is just going to make you smile, but I really want to do a Sound of Music tour tour and get to go see all of the places where Sound of Music was filmed. And then also, this is really fun, but I have watched all of these YouTube videos about people who go and they do the tour that while you're on the bus, you sing along to the soundtrack, the Sound of Music songs. I love those songs. I grew up with them. And so that's like what precipitated, and then some things we want to see along the way. So that's how we got to renting a car instead of taking a train or flights. And so anyway, come along with us if you have visited that area before and you have got tips for me. And if you have done a Sound of Music tour there in Salzburg, let me know. We're going to see other things in Salzburg too, but truly, that's what's taking me there right now. So let us know if you've got anything to share with us. We would really enjoy hearing from you. Now, I mentioned that I've got something to tell you about Holland America Insurance. So make sure that you're listening really carefully now in case you have got a Holland America cruise booked, or if you are thinking of booking a cruise on Holland America ever. And so first of all, you know, when you book a cruise, you can choose whether or not you want the cruise line's insurance. You also can choose if you pay for that insurance when you pay your deposit, or anytime after that, quite frankly, clear up until final payment date. And so usually, you know, historically, the council has been to go ahead and, you know, they say pay for the insurance, because then if you have any pre-existing condition, by the time you're going to get on your cruise, that time frame there will have been taken care of, so that if anything happens while on a cruise ship, they can't say, well, you didn't, you know, you had a pre-existing condition and you were within that time, that we don't cover for it. So anyway, there's a lot that goes into thinking about that. Be aware though that on Holland America, if you book your cruise and you pay for the insurance when you pay for the deposit to go with your cruise, and then you decide that you are going to cancel your cruise before final payment. Before final payment. I'm not talking about after final payment. If you're going to cancel your cruise before then, and that is in the time period that your deposit is 100% refundable, they're going to want to keep your insurance money. Heads up. And I've had experience with this very recently, because with Holland America changing the itinerary on our Alaska group cruise at the end of March, we have had people say that they don't want to come anymore. Makes perfect sense to me. I get it. Taking Glacier Bay and Icy Strait Point off of an Alaska cruise, I'm not happy with Holland America. Really, really, really disappointed with Holland America over this. And so anyway, when you go to cancel those cruises for people that had paid for the insurance, they wanted to keep that. So for everyone, I have had to call and tell them that it was their fault. They changed the itinerary, we didn't, and that I want that money given back. And so they have. Not that I always get my way, but I've been very firm, because they are the ones that changed the itinerary and made it so that people didn't want to go anymore. So that's my heads up to you. If you are going to book a cruise on Holland America, I'm saying don't pay for the insurance until you pay your final payment if you want the insurance. And by the way, when you're thinking about Holland America, two things. First of all, they have two different plans. One of them is their cancellation protection, which is their lower level. Basically, all that covers, it's just cancellation protection. It says you get a refund of up to 80% of your total cruise vacation with the standard plan. And so then they have, if you have to cancel, it says cancel before departure for any reason. You can cancel up to 24 hours before departure with the standard plan, or right up to departure if you get the platinum plan, and that makes it easy with no claims to submit or fine print to review online, and you will get 80 to 90% of your eligible amounts paid. And so anyway, and they also don't have any exclusions for a pre-existing condition. That's very nice, and I think that's part of why they keep it. I don't know why they keep it if you're not going, but at any rate, I think it's probably a good way to make money for them. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. So their standard level is just that cancellation protection. If you want to have like medical protection, like if you have if you're in an accident or you get sick, or that evacuation protection if you're airlifted from the cruise ship or just taken off otherwise, is very expensive. If you want that, you have to get the platinum level. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone is really super clear about how that works, okay? I think it's very important to know that. So just make your own choice, but I've told you now. Now, along with talking about Holland America, I cannot remember if I've told you about this before or not, but really, Holland America has this amazing Alaska cruise, and I'm telling you about it because if you have time, you should go. It goes next year, and it goes over the summer solstice when it is light the longest, especially up north, and it's going to be on board the Westerdam, and it's a 28-day itinerary. It's going to take you clear up to the Bering Sea, and it goes to 13 different places in Alaska and Canada. I think that they're only doing it, I think maybe just once this year, and so it's really cool that you could actually do that. They're going to visit Anchorage, Dutch Harbor, Haines for Skagway, Homer is way up north. I would love to get to go see that someday. Juneau, Ketchikan, Kodiak, Nome, Alaska, Seward, Sitka, Valdez, and Wrangell, as well as Prince Rupert in Canada. So it goes to all of those, those are ports that you're going to stop in, and then you get to do scenic cruising in Glacier Bay, the Inside Passage, the Tracy Arm Fjord, College Fjord, Little Diomede Island, Prince William Sound, and you get to see the Hubbard Glacier, which I will add, that's what they replaced Glacier Bay with on our cruise. They are taking us to Hubbard Glacier. Hubbard Glacier is spectacular. Don't think that that's just it's not the same as Glacier Bay, but it's extraordinary. It is a huge, huge glacier. When you think of the glaciers that you see in Glacier Bay, the amount that you can see from the cruise ship, the Marjorie Glacier goes way back up, and that other glacier right next to it, I always want to call it Standard Pacific. It's the Grand Pacific Glacier. It's covered in silt, and so you don't really see it. So the Hubbard Glacier is huge though, and you get to see a couple of sides of it. When they pull you up, it's like you can see two sides of the glacier as well as going up, and it's truly spectacular. So don't think that's not worth seeing. But anyway, those are the places that they take you, and so I just felt like telling you all about it. If you've got 28 days, I know I said to Gordon, could you miss 28 days of work? And he's like, honey. So we're not going to get to go this year, but I really hope that they run it again on a year when we're retired. All right, the last thing that I want to talk to you about today is really important, and I'm going to kick it off with an update that I got just this morning, in the wee hours of the morning. I really appreciate it, from one of our Let's Go family members who is on the Caribbean Princess. You might recall that yesterday I let you know that this coming weekend at the turnaround day there, when some passengers get off and new ones get on, that they are going to run a whole disinfection of the ship, so embarkation is going to be delayed a little bit. Well, I really appreciate this update from our Let's Go family member, and somebody else had told me too that on board the Caribbean Princess right now that the buffet is still self-serve. And so I truly don't think, and then based on what this gentleman shared, I don't think that it's like a true outbreak, and I'll tell you why I think that's really important. But he said that they have had a wonderful 2-week trip in the Caribbean. The protocol that was being followed early in the trip has been completely relaxed, and that was the extra protocol because of the norovirus cases. He says the latest report from the captain was that there was only one case on board this last week, and it represents 0.03% of the passengers, and that there was no additional outbreaks during their cruise. So 2 things. Number one, I think that bodes really well for everyone who's on the Caribbean Princess right now. And if I were someone that was getting on the Caribbean Princess this weekend to go on a cruise, that would make me worry even less. So things I think are looking really good. The second thing that I think is so important as a segue to what we're going to talk about next is the fact that clearly things are going really well on the Caribbean Princess, but truly in an abundance of caution, Princess is going to have their ship completely disinfected again. They are going above and beyond, I think, what's really required based on the current situation. So I really appreciate that. And there's a few reasons I appreciate that. And one of them is that I think, honestly, that just, I read so much in what I do here, trying to prepare to sift through what I think is important for you to know. But I read through a lot of information, and it truly seems that some cruise lines, I think they're all extraordinarily careful. Absolutely. I think that there are some that take safety and passenger and crew safety to the nth degree, like so much, going above and beyond what would be required. And truly, tell me what you all think. It seems to me like Princess is like that. I just feel like they really try to do the best job they can to keep passenger and crew safe, whether it comes to the norovirus or to anything else. So the thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I found it so interesting because we have our Antarctica group cruise scheduled. We're a very small group, but we're going to have a wonderful time together. And but I wanted to and if you want to come with us, send me an email and I will send you a quote. And if you would like to be in our group, I can book you. So the thing that goes along with this is the fact that, and I've read this in a couple of places now, the U.S. Coast Guard is going to be working with international Coast Guard type people and what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, like from other countries to research and to really investigate and try to get to the bottom of what happened with the deaths that they had in Antarctica this last year. They had more than they have ever had before, and truly more people are going to Antarctica than ever before, both on the cruises like Princess, like we are going to take, where you do not get off the ship. That scenic cruising in Antarctica and the whole journey, the whole voyage is extraordinary. We have done that before and highly recommend it. But then you've got all of these, many more excursion ships are going, and so many more excursion ships. I want to say, I can't remember for sure, so I won't, but there are a lot of excursion ships that have been announced and are currently being built or will be built soon. So it's just going to be more and more people going to Antarctica on these type of ships. But I really appreciate that the U.S. Coast Guard is going to try to see if they can suggest and if any differences can be made to the safety on cruise ships, the whole situation, to try to mitigate this and make it so that it doesn't happen so often. A really interesting thing, now this that I'm sharing right now is based on an article in USA Today. So I thought it was really interesting that they talk about the fact that this last year there are several people that were killed, it says. But let me start off though with what the Coast Guard says. They said, "We are proud to work alongside the NTSB and our international partners to investigate these instances and make meaningful safety improvements for worldwide passenger vessel operations, especially in unique high-risk environments like Antarctica." And they say that the safety of U.S. passengers aboard ships throughout the globe is the priority of the U.S. Coast Guard. And so clearly, when you think of these ships, they come from different countries around the world. And so they talk about Norway is leading the investigation into an inflatable boat from the Viking Polaris sustained the keel bladder, like, those are inflatable, failure near Damai Point in Antarctica, and a U.S. citizen got hurt. 2 U.S. citizens died after an inflatable boat. Same thing, those Zodiacs are inflatable. With Quark Expeditions World Explorer ship capsized close to Elephant Island, Antarctica. It said that the boat was carrying 6 passengers at the time. So Portugal is where that ship is flagged, so they are going to be investigating that. And finally, you all, I'm sure, remember when we talked about a U.S. citizen died aboard the Oceanwide Expedition Plancius, Plancius ship, and it said that so the Netherlands and the Falkland Islands officials are going to be looking into that. Now they also talk about in November, and we remember that rogue wave hitting the Viking Polaris when it was on its way to Ushuaia there in Argentina, and 1 person died. So it hit the side of the ship, the rogue wave did, and it broke clearly through enough, and a lady was killed. So every time I think about that, my heart and prayers go out to that family with that happening. But I want to say that I am really glad that the U.S. Coast Guard is investigating these from the standpoint that they will make sure that there is nothing else that could be done to make sure that these things don't happen again. I know that for a really long time, expedition ships have been taking passengers to Antarctica, and we have not heard of things happening like the Zodiac's having problems and people being killed that way. It is so very rare that that would happen, and we did indeed have a lot this last year. So I'm hoping that they can kind of make some suggestions, make some changes so that it's even harder for those kinds of things to happen. When I think of going to Antarctica on Princess, part of me, I do want to do an excursion, an expedition one someday, so that I can step on Antarctica, and so that I can be on those Zodiacs and be closer to see the whales. You can see the whales really well from the Princess ships. Let me add that. That is in no way a shabby journey, but I also would like to experience that. But at the same time, I know that Princess is so very cautious with how they run these voyages. They're cautious all over the world, but let me tell you, I could tell that when we were on the Coral Princesses, who we were on in January of 2020 when we went, boy are they cautious. They are so cautious. They have so many more crew members on board who are qualified in all of these things that are not normally on cruise ships going anywhere else in the world. Like, they have ice captains and ice watchers, like there's always one on the bridge all the time, and that's just a small example of how good they do. And so I honestly feel very safe going. I am not worried about going to Antarctica with Princess at all. And so I just wanted to let you know, I think Princess does a good job. I think the other cruise lines do too. Surely no one leaves a loophole anywhere that they think anyone could be hurt because they are not managing things as fastidiously as they could. So wanted to just put that out there and let you know what's going on with that. And I'm really excited. I'm going to watch for the results of this investigation so we can see what they figure out. If any of you happen to be on a cruise ship right now or have recently returned, I would really appreciate an update. We would love to hear from you, from Princess, and from any other cruise line as well. It is so valuable to know how everything is going. You can put it in the comments. You can send me an email, whatever is easiest for you. I would really appreciate any updates. And if you have any other information, send that along as well, and I'll share it out with everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We are planning to do our live this evening at, let's see, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's 7 Central, 6 Mountain, and 5 o'clock Pacific Time. So join us if you can. We thought it would be really good to kind of wrap up everything with Norwegian as well as talk about a lot of things going on with Princess. And we always have such a nice time. We really appreciate everyone coming. So we will look for you to join us this evening if you can. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. We really need you with us, and I think you will enjoy being part of our amazing Let's Go family here. If you appreciate these updates, please give this video a thumbs up. It really does help us, and I will be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.